She was a great help a couple of weeks ago, and she is back. A chain butler, Karibu Sana.
Asante, so delighted to be back again.
So last time you helped us, make boundaries around the relationships we're having around money and getting into business with our friends. And we're happy that we learned. But now we need to make extra coin. Probably that didn't work out. That I didn't get the money they were putting in, or probably they didn't get the money that I was putting into the business, or whatever it is that was happening in that relationship. But now we just need some tips on how to just add an extra coin to what we have.
Great.
And you're just the human for that.
Well, I hope I can help. If you make money, please don't forget this conversation.
We will not. We shall not.
Wonderful.
Great. So where do we even start with this?
So, making money, I think the world has shifted in such an interesting way. And now I find that there are so many more ways to make money. When I was 19, the world was, I feel, very structured, and you kind of had to go to school, be a lawyer, be an engineer, be a this, be a teacher. It was very sort of structured and limited.
Yeah.
But that was the world we grew up in. If I was 19 today, I'd be jumping up and down because I think there are so many more opportunities. And I always say, when you think about how to figure out how to make money, there are some basic considerations that you need to think about.
Okay.
Think about, evaluate your the opportunity in terms of what you're good at. What you're good at.
Not what I've studied.
It doesn't have to be what you've
doesn't have
studied.
to be.
And look at it in a couple of ways, actually. It could be what you've studied, which can make you money. But it could also be something that you're good at that could make you money. It could be a hobby that could make you money. So though it doesn't have to be a very linear approach where you're like, I studied chemistry, therefore I must become a chemist, and so on. I studied pharmacy, therefore I must become a pharmacist. That's the only way, or the highway kind of thing.
Yeah.
You're not limited. It's really about looking at what you have working for you. What is the opportunity? What are the different things working for you?
Yeah.
And that's a great way and place to start.
I think we've seen a lot of that happening, and especially last year when COVID hit and we were home for a very long time. And people tapped into their bakery spirits.
Yes.
And we had so many people come up with, I can cook at home and have it delivered. So you're making money out of something that you love to do. Probably you just used to give your neighbors or probably the security guards the food, but now you're making an extra coin by something that you love to do.
Absolutely. And imagine, it means like if you don't tap into that, it's like
Yeah.
you're leaving money on the table.
Yeah.
And I know for a lot of young people, the struggle is always, do I go into employment? Oftentimes it's because our parents are pushing us to do that. Or do I become an entrepreneur? And oftentimes the limitation is maybe you're not liquid.
Okay.
But the example you've just given, like baking,
Yeah.
there's a lady who makes spring rolls and samosas. And she lives down the road from my house. So you can imagine on the lazy days, I love cooking, but on the lazy days when it's cold, I'm under the duvet, I'm just Netflixing and chilling. And I have no intention of cutting onions.
Yes.
She's my hookup.
That's true.
And she makes them at home, packages them beautifully, and distributes. She's got her border guys that deliver, or sometimes she actually does the deliveries within the neighborhood herself, or her daughter helps her do it. So you can actually make money out of something that you're taking for granted as being a hobby or just
The
something you do at home.
I think are endless.
Absolutely.
I saw one where I live where he's a musician. He plays different kinds of instruments. And now, last year, that was not able. That was not happening.
Yeah.
They were not going out.
Yeah.
They were not having gigs.
Yeah.
But then what did he do? He started saying, I can teach your children. Now your children are home. There's no school. So do you want them to learn how to play the piano? Then I'm the guy for that. And you do it in your house. So I am totally for that. So just tap into what it is that you love to do, what it is that you enjoy to do, and it won't probably, you even have the things around you.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
See, you're helping already.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, don't forget, my bank account is...
We will put it at the lower thirds, so watch out for that. Okay.
Yeah. And, I'll give you an example. The video editor that I work with now, he used to be a photographer.
Okay.
And I think he looked at the opportunity and said, if you look at, let's say the digital space, there's so much more engagement when it's audiovisual. And so he taught himself how to edit. He's 21 years old. Smart young man. He's now like, I'm going to buy my own equipment because I need to take things up a notch, you know?
Yes.
You have to just use what you have, but also look at the market. What's going on in the landscape? What's going on in the marketplace? You know, are there shifts in the industry that create an opportunity? Look at what the need is. You know, what is the need? You know, today, I don't know, we're freezing. The weather is so cold. You know, and I see a lot of people, you know, they've started their thrift stores online.
Yes.
They can't go and sell outdoors, or it's not as easy, especially since the advent of COVID.
Yes.
But what have guys done? They've jumped onto Instagram. It's the shop front. You know, and they're buying their thrift. They're giving access to warm clothing inexpensively because everybody's freezing and everybody's looking for the boots or the woolen socks or the scarves
the hot
and shawls.
water bottle.
The hot water bottles. In fact, I need a couple.
Haven't you seen? Guys,
I have one that's just worn out.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, but there's huge opportunities in that sense. What is the need? What is the public looking for? What are consumers looking for? What are consumers struggling with?
Okay.
And how do you supply them with what they need based on the struggle? How are you fixing or addressing a pain point? That's often a really interesting way to identify an opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is one. Imagine.
Yeah.
And that was endless. We could be here for a whole lot of time just talking about that.
Yeah.
What other things can we do in terms of, you know, adding more money to what we're already earning, or just creating some other way to earn more money?
So I like the question. I mean, it's the way I look at it, and I made some notes just, you know, as we think about making money.
Yes.
You know, when you're making money, there are almost like buckets that you can think about.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. There's a creative bucket. And if you look at the industry today, or the landscape or the marketplace today, things that are creative, like I know people who write beautifully. The gentleman was here earlier. The poetry, my God, my heart started singing all by itself. You know?
Yes.
That's somebody who has the gift of writing.
Yes.
And when you think about whether it's company newsletters, whether it's company websites, whether it's company internal memos, whether all of it is about copywriting, the ability to write. And it doesn't come to everyone. Not everybody has the gift of writing.
That is so true.
And yet, you know, you could write blogs for companies because they need to put information out there, irrespective of the industry. It could be health industry, it could be, you know, a fast-moving consumer good, a soft drink, chocolate, detergent, whatever it is. But everybody, for example, needs some kind of writing done. Every brand needs some kind of writing done. So you could do some copywriting, for example. You could go into, you know, web design and development. Nowadays, it's so easy to do. You could do social media, creative for social media. You could write blogs. So there's a pillar around creative and creative work that is an opportunity. The other one, I've seen some people get into writing for students as well. Yes.
So it's right there, and you can work with anybody from across the world, like anywhere in the world. As if they need something written, you just put your portfolio out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of people use Upwork or Fiverr as platforms. I think there's a company, if I'm not mistaken, it's in Nigeria, that has started something similar as well, targeting African talent, or Africans in the gig economy who have skills that they want to market and, you know, put out there. You know, but the concept is really a great concept where you literally go onto Fiverr. For those of you who might not know, something like Fiverr or Upwork, you literally go on there and you sign up and say, you know, I'm a copywriter. Per page, I'll charge you, you know, 500 bob.
Oh.
And you put your details in there.
That's it?
Yes, that's all it is. And so if I wanted to buy those services, if you've put yourself out there, I go in and I pay and I book you, but I pay to Upwork, and then they in turn will pay you.
Pay me. So it's safe.
So it's safe.
And
there's a number of great platforms like that where you literally sign up as a freelancer, offering, I don't know, graphic design, videography, photography, name it.
And you can work from home.
You can work from home. You can perch on the couch. You can be under the duvet with your phone. I mean, it's so flexible. Yeah. You know? So the creative space, I think, is one of about 3 or 4 very interesting pillars when you think about ways that you can make money.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think we have endless opportunities.
Yeah.
Only we don't look, or we're too scared to get into them. Or we're just like, you know, I went to school and I studied for this, so I'll just stick to what I know.
Exactly.
Instead of even what you're doing at the workplace, you could do it elsewhere for you.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I think somebody asked me once, I was an intern and I was doing 8 to 5 throughout the week. I never had, like off days. So I'd work Monday to Monday every day. And they're like, imagine if you put in that amount of time for yourself, for something that you're creating.
Absolutely.
That would be mind-blowing what you'd come up with and what you would be gaining from that.
Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes people are fearful. So we're fearful of taking that step. And so the nice thing is you can actually probably inch into it. You could keep your day job.
Yes.
And still work on this, your pet project. And then over time, as it starts to grow, you then take that leap. You know, one of my very good friends did that. We worked in corporate together for many, many years. And then he started his side business. It was a sort of sales and distribution related. And by the time he was quitting the job, this business had been running for 2 years. He was making enough money that he could walk away from a senior position in a corporate, in a corporate environment, because he was making enough money. He had a whole team of people working for him. So sometimes you can play it safe by, sort of taking a small step and starting it and getting it off the ground without necessarily taking that leap of faith. So, people are different. So people have different thresholds for risk.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Tips as well. You mentioned something earlier that caught my attention. You talked about the gig economy. Maybe you can just break that down for us. What is it?
Yeah. So when you think about the gig economy, it's really, think about freelancers. So it's really around this whole economy, around people who freelance. They have a set of skills and they freelance and offer those skills in different projects. So you're not limited to working with one company as an employee or with one company as a contractor. It's like you get gigs. So one project might be a 1-month project. Maybe you're doing copywriting for them. One project might be a 3-month project where, they're launching this whole big campaign. And so you're doing the copywriting for the whole campaign. One project might be, somebody's going to film something and they need some the copywriting, for the video, for the video that they're doing or the ad that they're doing. So, and I'm working with the assumption, I'm using the example of copywriting just as one of many, many possible examples.
So you're not sort of like tied down.
Exactly. So you're doing gigs. It's like, the way you go as a musician, you go, you have a gig, you go, you perform, you get paid, you leave. It's exactly the same concept of it's many little projects that you do. But cumulatively, you then make, you make money, you're able to earn a living. So when you think about the gig economy, I think a lot of our young people, and increasingly even older people, are working in a manner that falls within this gig economy concept. So you get gigs or projects, short contracts.
It's
and you
totally
work on them.
different from what happened back in the day. Imagine going back home and being like, so my daughter, what are you doing? I'm like, so I have this gig here, and then Dad, there's that other gig I'm doing over here. It's like, so who's your employer? So Dad, see this company. So it has changed. It is acceptable. People are making more money by doing this. You're networking in a huge way by doing this as well.
Exactly.
That means for every person that you work with, they're going to refer you probably to somebody else.
Exactly. Now, I've seen a situation when I lived in France. I saw a situation, actually, I interacted with this company where they were the interface. They were almost like an agent for all those people who need gigs done. So if you wanted, I remember I commissioned them for some work. I needed some illustrations done for a presentation we were doing. So they got me 3 or 4 of their people who illustrate very differently. And then I had to pick, and then we worked with that lady for that 1 month or month and a half leading up to the presentation. So that for her was a gig, And so this company was actually the agent for a host of people with all sorts of different skills. And they would go out to the corporates, get business, and then, come and find, and sort of say, Mwikali, you're good for this. Achieng, you're good for that. Jane, you're good for the other. Let's pitch let's show your portfolio to this client and let the client choose. And they had different people with lots of different skills, production related, videography related, photography related, writing related, all sorts of skills that relate to the whole marketing communication space.
And you can be in many of those.
Yes, exactly.
And you can be in so many of those. That's beautiful. What else do we have? We have about 5 minutes to go.
Okay. So, I thought I had an hour, but okay, fine.
We could be here for a whole day doing this.
All right. So I'm going to just, because not everybody's in the creative space, I'm going to just kind of highlight a couple of things to think about, or areas when you think about making money. I mean, outside of the digital space where, you could go into e-commerce, and we've talked about drop shipping, or there's areas like drop shipping, or setting up your own sort of, Instagram page or social media marketing page and selling stuff. There's also a pillar around services. So think about, the Ubers of this world.
Yes.
Think about the Bodas of this world, or even, all these services like delivery services. You could teach, the example you were giving around, pivoting. If industries have changed and, you can't go out and do what you normally do, how else can you do it online?
Yeah.
You could teach, you could do fast food delivery, you can tutor online, you can do voiceovers online. There's quite a few opportunities and lots of channels or platforms that you can tap into. You can be a real estate agent. You can do car washes. I've seen lots of car washes coming up. So the whole area around service is a very interesting pillar. Yeah. And then there's a pillar around even more manual stuff. Maybe you can recycle scrap metal. Maybe you're into this construction space. Fine, it's manual. But if you want to earn a living, I always say every living that somebody sets out to earn is a decent living.
That's true.
Even if, you could be picking stones on a construction site, that's okay. You make your 1,000 bob a day, it's 1,000 bob you didn't have, So, I'll encourage people to kind of keep an open mind. Things like selling your wares online, things like, I've talked about courier actually, I've talked about that. Investments, maybe you have a bit of money, but you want to try and find ways to increase, your money.
Yes.
I know there's a lot of people now, dabbling in the stock market, in, Forex trading. Of course, you can just as easily lose that money.
That is so true.
It's very easy to lose your money.
There's a gentleman who came
cautious.
in who's doing Forex trading, and he's like, just put in what you're comfortable losing.
Yes.
That is what, just put in, but if you lose it, because you can, you will, you might.
Exactly.
So just be very careful when you get into that. When you talked about courier, I met a gentleman who couldn't afford a boda. And last year we did a lot of deliveries. We were not going anywhere. Things were being brought to us. And he was like, I have a bicycle and I could use that. So it's like, just use that. And it started just in the estate.
Yes.
Then the neighboring estates. Then he was like, oh, now I have a bike. I can
fantastic.
go, So it doesn't have to start in a big way.
Exactly.
It could start small. It could be on foot within small spaces, and then get your bicycle, and then get your motorcycle, and probably get your car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Start somewhere. And I think, I like what you've said, which is really sometimes we think about the whole thing, when actually we should be thinking about it in bite sizes. What's the little way that you can start?
Yeah.
So maybe you want to open your e-commerce shop or your, online. But maybe just go buy your thrift and start with your friends.
Yes.
And then your friends will tell a friend, who'll tell a friend, who'll tell a friend. I've seen young people online, like on Instagram. Literally they post and everything is gone within an hour. Sold.
Yes.
And if you do the math, they've made anything between 20,000 and 100,000 just on that one day when they posted pictures of what they're selling.
Yeah.
So I think there's ways to make money. Maybe sometimes people are, uncomfortable or a bit scared, but start small.
That is
and
so
scale
true. You have said some very important things today. And one of the things that I probably will take home today is not to be fearful. Because that is the thing that we do the most. You're like, what if it doesn't work? What if it works?
Exactly.
What if it works? So you'll be there sitting down, not doing anything about it just because you're worried it won't work or probably didn't work for somebody else. But do some research, I think.
Yes.
See what is working for other people, what has made them feel, and how you can just switch it up and make it your own in a beautiful way. Let me tell you, Acheng, you are a lifesaver. Again.
Thank you. I hope it helped.
It did. I got some help. I hope you did as well. How can people get in touch with you? Social media handles as well.
Okay. So I'm on Instagram. My Instagram handle is @attitude, as in attitude, but instead of double T, it's a CH. Yes, very creative, if I say so myself.
We agree.
And you can also reach me on email. You can write to us at people@digitalbeehive.net.
Just say that again.
people@digitalbeehive.net, or on Instagram @attitude.
Then you pause for a bit after saying attitude. It's like attitude. No? No, is it working? No,
It worked.
It
worked.
Okay, cool. We're going to take a very short commercial break. We'll be right back. Don't go too far.